Hi, everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, August the 30th, with the moon that sets the public tone in Gemini. It's a pretty good sign to start the work week because it keeps us mentally stimulated, conversational, brainstorming ideas. We're not going to be hungover and tired from the weekend. Now, the moon will be in harmony with structured, pragmatic, practical Saturn at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. on the Pacific coast. But for those on the East Coast of the United States, the Eastern time, then you're starting your early work week with that emotional moon stabilized with Saturn. By 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in harmony with pleasure-seeking sociable Venus, and the moon in Gemini likes to interact and socialize anyhow. So this is also now for the West Coast, Pacific time, starting at 9 a.m., that's really favorable for being, just wanting to be at work, engaging, having meetings. On Tuesday, the moon will be in a stressful angle to nebulous Neptune from about 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. Moon Neptune, we might be confused, unfocused. We might have some emotional disappointments. But then this too shall pass because it's only for a couple of hours. And then the moon will be in harmony with optimistic, expansive Jupiter by 1:30 p.m. for those next 2 hours. That moon Jupiter brings a lot more wisdom, more understanding. So whatever might have gotten lost in translation earlier, that moon Jupiter, it's all forgiven. It's very good for traveling, very good for publishing, marketing. But what you get started with that moon Jupiter, right after that, the moon goes void, of course, which I talk about every week, when the moon stops making aspects to other planets. So by around 2, little bit later, with that moon now moving off of Jupiter and going void, of course, until 10:26 p.m. and Pacific Standard Time. Moon void, of course, it's good for reflection. It's good for just staying the course, but it's not favorable for launching any major new projects. Wednesday, the moon is in Cancer. It went into Cancer the night before, that 10:26 p.m. Pacific time. Now, the moon in Cancer can be a time of wanting to stay closer to home. Cancer is more domestic, more family-oriented. But the moon in Cancer can also be very emotional and therefore can often trigger mood swings. But we'll see more difficult mood swings from about 5 to 7 a.m. Pacific time because it will be in a stressful angle to rational Mercury. And then rational Mercury will go emotional, rational, and there's sort of this uncertainty. But later in the day, early evening, like 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time, now the Cancer moon is in harmony with the sun. And we're feeling more comfortable. We're more into the rhythm of family, of relationships. Thursday, the Mars, assertive, desirous Mars, aggressive, ambitious Mars, will be in conflict with nebulous Neptune. Now, this transit will only happen once every 2 years. Mars is what you're trying to achieve, go after. What are your desires? But interacting with Neptune, the opposition means that other people or outside circumstances will pull the rug out from underneath you. Whatever you could be disappointed, not being able to stay focused and achieve your goals. You have to be careful if somebody is trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, think twice before accepting any offer that's too good to be true. This will be strong on Thursday. It will linger into the first part of Friday. But the moon in Cancer will be in harmony with idealistic, empathetic, intuitive Neptune and positive with assertive Mars from 6 to 8 p.m. So that was be any kind of disappointment. You'll start to let it go, feel resolved by it. Any scams, you're like, I got this. You're not pulling the wool over my eyes. But that first part of the day, just be careful. And your energy, that's Mars. Your energy could be really low. Therefore, when it comes to business, any kinds of financial transaction, be wary. Friday, the moon will be void of course. Now, it already went void of course on Thursday evening, 10:38 p.m. Pacific time. So most of the world will wake up Friday with the moon void of course, remaining void of course with this flat, unproductive energy till 9 a.m. Pacific time, when it then goes into dynamic, extroverted Leo. And there's no other important aspects with the moon. So after 9 a.m. Pacific time, it's very favorable for entertainment, for fun and games, going to a party, going on a vacation. That's great to really set the stage for Friday, the beginning of the weekend. Saturday, the moon will be in tension with innovative, unpredictable Uranus from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific time. But the downside could be some emotional upsets. The upside can mean getting you excited and out of a rut and trying new things. Plus Mercury, discerning decision-making Mercury, will be in harmony with Saturn. This will happen twice a year. Mercury trining Saturn is very favorable for business. You're going to be feeling more focused, more grounded. It's great for learning, writing, teaching, but especially with business matters, because Mercury Saturn really helps that being very logical and practical with business. Sunday, the moon, we wake up Pacific Standard Time at 7:22 a.m. and the moon is void, of course, until 4:06 p.m. Pacific Time. Then it goes into more sensible, practical Virgo. But while the moon is void, of course, most of the day, but it's just stay the course. Just don't do anything new. Do your regular Sunday routine. The pleasure-seeking Venus will be impacted by compulsive Pluto. This can, you wouldn't want to meet somebody new and start a new relationship with the moon void, of course. But this could be really favorable for awakening some fun and games and romance in an existing relationship. Before I sign off, I want to remind you I'm available for a 1-question offer for a nominal fee. To be able to request it, go to the home page, click on the tab that says Advisors, and scroll down till you find my name, click on my name, and you can then order your question. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.